Um, I don't know, man.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new day, it's a new
Welcome, Goat Locker fans, to another race under the lights here for the Veterans for Life Racing Truck Series. It's round 9, and we're here in the virtual desert at Phoenix Raceway. We're going to strap in tight and get ready to watch round of 9 for the Veteran for Life Racing Truck Series right here on V-Speed. My name is Scott Shive, and joining me in the booth tonight is Logan Therakeld, and behind the scenes is Eddie Smith, working as our producer. Well, Logan, here we are, round 9. We've got 2 more races until we open up these playoffs, and we've got drivers fighting out hard here for these playoffs. But tonight, we're here to talk about this schedule, talking about 2 more races to go. We've got tonight here at Phoenix, and then we've got Las Vegas next week. Tell me a little bit tonight about what we're expecting to see at Phoenix.
You know, Phoenix is one of those tracks that anything can really happen at. It's just that 1 mile. It's kind of that tri-oval setup. You know, it's one of the biggest things we're going to have to watch out for are these drivers dropping below that yellow line in the tri-oval, especially on some older tires. It's really going to get slick down there, and we might see some pretty heated moments coming back up on the track, but it's going to be a fantastic race tonight regardless.
That dog leg is one of the biggest stories of this race here tonight. We talked about Phoenix, then we've got Las Vegas next weekend, which will be our closing for our regular season here in the Veterans for Life Racing Truck Series, and that'll send us to our round of 12. So we've got a lot of drivers out here tonight that are fighting to try to get into these playoffs, and we've got the points, and we've also got Dash for Cash tonight. Tell me a little bit about that, Logan.
Yeah, so the Dash for Cash, through this season, they've had qualifying races. The top 5 finishers in those qualifying races, they get eligible for these Dash for Cash races. So for tonight, our qualified racers, we have David Duke, Levi McCarty, Jeremy Gardner, Jim Kaufman, and Howie DiSavino. All 5 of these drivers are going to be battling it out for the top finishing position to win a cash prize of $60 tonight.
Well, we're going to be keeping up with that all night long for you here, fans. But we've also, like we talked about, we've got our regular season points. 12 drivers fighting it out. We've already got 6 that are locked into the playoffs. David Duke locked himself in last week with his win at Iowa. That's now 8 different winners, and we'll only see 6 because 2 of them are ineligible for the playoffs because they haven't been running this full series. But Logan, 8 different winners. That's nuts.
Dude, that is absolutely insane to not have a repeat winner all season. But, you know, it's Phoenix. We might see one of these drivers, you know, especially these Dash for Cash drivers, going out there for the win tonight and maybe being the first one this season to take home that second win.
Seriously, we talk about it. Phoenix here in Avondale, Arizona. It's got 4-turn here oval, 8 to 11 degree banking. It's pretty flat in this little bit over a 1 mile track. You can see here on the track map, it's a weird shape, as we talked about with that dog leg at the bottom of your screen. That's where we're going to see a lot of our drivers here on restarts tonight. And Logan, you talked about it. I think that's going to be one of the biggest stories tonight. And like you said, I think we could see a little bit of carnage tonight.
Yeah, we absolutely can. You'll see a lot of these drivers coming out of turn 4, immediately heading straight for the center of that dog leg, and then coming back out well before the entrance of turn 1. But man, it is so slick down there, especially once you get some age on these tires.
It's really slick at this track. Exactly what you said, not only in the dog leg, but especially in these flat corners. We're going to head to our grid in just a moment, but you talked about it, that slick racetrack. And these trucks are set up real loose on here on this track, and especially at night. It's going to be cool. But we're getting to our starting grid. Your Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award is going to go to Coley McQuain here in the 6th car alongside the 15 of Jamie Barkas. So congratulations, Cody, for getting that Jam Printing and Promotions pole. Up next in 3rd position, we're going to have Jamie Barkas there, Jacob Ellingson in the 27, and in 4th we'll have Jacob Denson. Back in 5th on the inside, we'll have the 42 of Jeremy Gardner putting in a 27.195 alongside his outside, the 66 of Jamie Mullins. On the inside in 7th, we'll have Levi McCarty in that 24, and in the 8th position, we'll have the 87 of Jake Ham. Back in 9th position, we'll have Mike Browning, and rounding out your top 10, we'll have the 49 of Craig Bontrager.
Back behind the top 10, in the 36, George Jewell, next to David Duke. Howie DiSavino in that 55 will take the inside on the 75 of Charles Feltz. Chance Taylor in the 14 will take home 15th, and Scott Feltz will start here in 16th. James Goshen in the 85 will be in 17th position to start this race, next to Matt Knights in the 64. Timothy Stubblefield will take home the 19th starting position, next to Brandon Wallace in the 99, starting out in 20th.
Well, then rounding out the back half of this field in 21st, we'll have the 25 of James Kaufman right alongside Stephen McDonald. Then in final position of the day, we'll have that 33 of Tyler Justice. So 23 car field here tonight. You talked about it, Logan. You talked about that carnage. We've got a lot of laps here to go, 115. Tell me about what these drivers are thinking about. We've got 115 laps. We got 45 mile per hour pit road speed, 4 tire sets available, along with 2 green-white checkered attempts. Tell me about what these drivers are thinking about at the beginning of this night race.
So the beginning of this race here, it's going to be a lot about tire saving. It's going to come down to that, absolutely. But you know, we can talk about that a little bit more as these drivers are going to make their way down the backstretch here, coming into turn 3 and 4 shortly. We will see this race go. But again, it's going to be a tire strategy night with only 4 sets.
Well, we got a new guy up front. We got Cody McWayne right up front there. And what about him tonight? We haven't seen anything from him, but we're going to see right now as we get the green flag here at Phoenix, running in round 9, 2 races to go. Cutting down the dog leg, Cody McWayne will keep it out of turn 1. Jamie Barkus trying to come up on the outside to hold that second position. Fighting is in third, Jacob Ellingson. Yellow's already out, crash in the back straightaway.
Ooh,
Car up and over. That's number 4. That's Mike Browning. We're up and over already.
Mike Browning just got sideways there out of turn 2 and unfortunately back up into the middle of the racing surface, collected by the 99 of Brandon Wallace. That's what sent him up and over on the roof a couple times.
Mike Browning started 9th here, just gets loose. Already we saw it gets hit there by that pink and yellow car. Then, comes in another car. Wow, hard to see right there. I think that's the 9, I believe. Oh, it's the 99 there of Brandon Wallace was the one who flipped him over. Very low speed to get flipped there, but you saw it right there, Logan. Really loose already, even at turn 1. Those cold tires and this slick racetrack, not a great combo.
Yeah, it's definitely not ideal and unfortunate for the 99 of Wallace to kind of get some front end damage from that. Not a whole lot. Looking at the front end of his car on my screen, it could be worse considering the circumstances, but he got it slowed down just enough that I think he's going to be able to get that repaired and back out on the track in no time.
Well, number 4 of Mike Browning tonight, he is our veteran spotlight, so caught up in an incident early, but we'll believe he'll be able to recover from it. Mike Browning, racing in the Go Locker Truck Series for him, absolutely wonderful. He has been out there wanting to do this for so long. Matt, he has served and all of everything. He's been with Goat Locker Racing for such a long time, and a group of people that he is wanting to know and serve, and the person for them in their community. He believes it's bigger for themselves. So Mike Browning, a firefighter, changing up everything this week. He's a first responder, and Mike Browning, he's been a firefighter in Iowa for 15 years. Currently serving as the acting chief, not to be confused with the genuine Navy chief role, and he's currently the president of the IAFF Local 1457. Mike's effort have contributed to his crew receiving a Meritorious Unit Award for rescuing a victim from a vehicle that was being crushed between 2 semis during whiteout conditions. Mike participates in both the Next Gen and the Truck Series here at Goat Locker Racing, and we are extremely proud to have him. So thank you, Mike Browning, being out here tonight. Well, we've had some chaos already, Logan, like you talked about.
Yeah, it's that's Phoenix for you. It's always going to be slick no matter where you're at on the track. It's just a matter of how you can handle that throttle.
Always about how you can handle the throttle. Really difficult here in the trucks. You've got to feather it out there and everything with that. So we've got Cody McElwain still up front. He didn't have long there to hold the lead, but right now he's going to try to hold that, trying to get another win, trying to get a first win here for Cody McElwain. Jamie Barkus, he's looking to get another win because he's already locked in, Logan. So green flag here yet again. We're going to go for another one here. Starting lap 5 at Phoenix Raceway. They dive down to the dog leg.
Yeah, there are not going to be any strangers to the dog leg here tonight, as you see just about every single truck on the field immediately after crossing that start finish dive down below that yellow line. There is quite the advantage if you can handle it down there, but I expect to see some sideways trucks later on in this race for sure.
Cody McElwain holds it yet again. Jamie Barkus, meanwhile, falling down the field. He's dropped 2 positions. Jacob Ellingson and Levi McCarty. Levi McCarty up 4 here. They're going to go side by side here. Levi McCarty and Ellingson into 1 and 2.
McCarty's one of those drivers to keep in mind in this Dash for Cash tonight, so he's currently sitting at the front of those 5 drivers. But we still have a lot of race to go for that to change at any given moment.
A lot of race to go. You talked about it. You'll see him dive, make that aggressive move. Man, it's really, really tough on the cars, but it gives you a great advantage on the rest of the cars that don't go. We'll see some guys tonight, like we talked about, Logan, some guys cut it, some guys don't. It can be a little bit difficult on the car itself, so you want to be careful and make sure you're not damaging your toe, because if you hit that dog leg too many times, you actually can bend out your toe. Looking along here with the roof cam of Levi McCarty, trying to get past the 6 car of McElwain here, but just rolling it slow, keeping
Big
it slow,
slide
saving that
too.
tire, like sliding, like you said.
Yeah, as you mentioned, that dog leg is atrocious on the suspension of these trucks. If you hit it just at the wrong angle at the wrong time, you can do a lot of damage. Upset the suspension, get the truck sideways. You're also putting a lot of extra wear and tear on the tires too.
It's easier. You make it more of a left turn there. Obviously, it's going to scrub your front tires a little bit more. You saw Levi McCarty running the outside there, able to get momentum. Going to swing the crossover here into 3 and 4 on the inside of McElwain. Will he be able to hold it? He'll slide up, try to create that, but McElwain will pull the crossover here, trying to keep the lead.
You know, at a lot of tracks, you'll see that aero brake on that as we've got action towards the back of the pack. The 36 goes around.
Action in the back, the 36, he's around. I believe that's George Jewell. He's at an incident.
I couldn't quite tell who he got tied up with. I do know there's 2 trucks involved in this one. A lot of damage on the front left of that 36 truck.
George Jewell trying to fight to get into this championship. Not quite. He's out of the points right now as we'll take a look back. Running it down into 3 and 4 here. Jewell, the 36 car right on the outside. Oh, just an incident between he and the 78. I believe that was David Duke.
David Duke, one of those drivers that, you know, he's in that dash for cash. That's not a great start for Duke. Could be a lot worse. He didn't come out with a whole lot of damage on the front of that truck, but
He didn't
man,
come out with too much damage. You'll see Duke, he was not planning on running the dog leg. Meanwhile, George Jewell was thinking about cutting it, trying to get a position. I imagine Jewell was thinking that he was going to go down there, that David Duke was going to go down to try to get in front of Jewell, but they had different ideas there, Logan.
yeah, that's the dangerous part of that dog leg is you never know if the driver to your inside is going to take that or not. So you have to be extra precautious to not pull that same maneuver. So, you know, it's hard to see out of the left side of these trucks if you don't have your vision set perfectly right. So that's just a lack of vision, it seems.
One of the many interesting factors that comes along here with this awesome track. While we're under caution here, Logan, one thing I want to be thinking about right now, we've completed lap 12 and we've got 4 sets of tires here tonight. When do you think these drivers are going to be pitting?
You know, if we keep going under caution like this, we could see this stretch out to 35, 40 laps. Anytime I've been on the track at Phoenix, it's about 25 under green flag condition before you really start to lose the rear of whatever vehicle you're driving on this surface. So it's hard to say. I would definitely assume that we're going to go a little bit longer on this first pit cycle here. But we've already had a couple trucks come down pit lane and claim some tires, fix some damage. So it's going to be a decent mix of strategies throughout this beginning half of the race, I would say.
Well, an awesome mix of strategies. We're going to be looking at that all night long. One thing I wanted to shout out right here, one of our sponsors, Nasty's Restaurant and Bar. Right now, they are currently broadcasting and playing our race live here for the Goat Locker Racing Truck Series Veterans for Life Racing Series. So shout out to Nasty's Restaurant and Bar. Appreciate y'all for being out here tonight. Anyone out there, if you're looking for a place to go, if you're near Hilliard, Ohio, pull up at Nasty's. So, oh man, this is going to be a great one. I'm really excited about this, Logan. One of the reasons I was excited about us coming to Phoenix is the many things we've already seen here. We've got low banking, we've got the dog leg, we've got 115 laps, and we've got drivers who are out there absolutely fighting it out here to try to make these playoffs. This was a great racetrack that Goat Locker chose to here for the penultimate race to end out the regular season championship.
Yeah, there's a lot of tracks to choose from, obviously, within the iRacing service, but to finish out the season within the last couple of races, or at least the regular season, rather, at Phoenix, it can really throw a wrench in things. Like the 6 of Cody McElwain, haven't talked a whole lot about him, but he's shown he's got the speed here tonight. He doesn't have the fastest lap on track, but he's not far behind it whatsoever. There's only a handful of cars that have put down times in that 27-second range, and he's one of the fastest of them doing it.
He's one of the fastest, and one of the things is it's really difficult to pass here. We saw Levi McCarty and Jacob Ellingson side by side for so long, and then McCarty came up to try to battle McElwain and just wasn't quite able to do it with those crossovers. So McElwain is going to have to find a way to be able to hold this lead, but he's on the Jam Printing Promotions pole still. He's still got that first place. Green flag yet again. We're here for the third time. Yet another dive down to the dog leg. Jacob Ellingson able to slide up in front of Levi McCarty, but McCarty, huge run on the outside with momentum. Will he be able to clear Ellingson here into 3 and 4?
Just about, but not quite. And now he's got him cleared. He's got some good momentum there to maybe make a move on Cody.
He's got good momentum here. He's going to shoot it down to the dog leg. McCarty side by side with your leader. Now McCarty throws it into 1 and 2. Will McElwain try the crossover again? No, he doesn't have momentum. New leader, 24, Levi McCarty.
And again, McCarty, one of the Dash for Cash drivers tonight, so already sitting in a very, very good position. Got quite a distance between himself and that next driver in the Dash for Cash. Do some quick math here in my head, and I believe that's going to be Jeremy Gardner back there in the 7th position.
Well, that's Jeremy Gardner there in the 7th position right now, fighting with Jamie Barkas right on his outside. Like you said, currently sitting in 7th, fighting there. Jamie Mullins on his outside, not going to give it up. Trying to fight hard in that 66 through 3 and 4.
We mentioned how Phoenix has so many different attributes with this track, and that's one of the wonderful things about it. There's so many different racing lines you can have because it's just such a flat surface. There's the low line, obviously. There's a couple versions of the mid line, or you can run it as high as the wall. If you can keep it off the wall, you can put down some really fast lap times with a lot of momentum coming out of the corners.
I couldn't have said it better myself. This is a track where you have to go and search for speed. Part of the tracks are going to rubber up, maybe on the low line at first. Then you try the middle. Then you go to the top, back and forth. As we look along here, still in the car of Jacob Ellingson up in 3rd place, trying to fight with Cody McElwain, who's fallen down to 2nd.
Just one more quick touch on the track that is Phoenix. Scott, the best way I can really describe this track, it's a driver's track.
A driver's track. Excellent way. Again, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You know this track better than most, Logan, and it's awesome. It is a driver's track, especially in this truck. I mean, it is so difficult. This truck is so easy to get loose, especially on this flat banking with so many different things that we've talked about here tonight. This is absolutely a driver's track. Still looking along with Ellingson right on the rear bumper of McElwain. And then right behind him, that's the 15 of Barkas, who started up in 2nd, fell down to 4th after that the second restart, because in the first one, we had Mike Browning go up and over. Meanwhile, Barkas trying to get back to the rear bumper of Ellingson. 4 cars on the line here, ended up with Jacob Denson.
You can see how rough that transition is from the natural racing surface to that apron. A lot of bouncing going on there. It takes a lot of, for lack of better words, just skill behind the wheel to keep the truck straight going down onto that apron.
It does. It's that, like we talked about, it's an aggressive change in banking. You go from 8 degrees on the front stretch to 0 right there, as you'll see looking at it again here along with Ellingson, and it is tough. It's real easy to get loose in that aggressive change of banking. Almost reminds me, it's a bit of the opposite, but I was racing at Martinsville last week in the Xfinity car, and when you hit the inside of that curb and your wheel changes position so quickly, it's so easy to get loose, and it's the exact same here, but the opposite when you're coming off the banking. Looking along here with Jacob Denson right there, and beautiful as he's got the Nasties, excuse me, that's Jamie Barkis. He's got the Nasties restaurant and bar on the hood. We love to see it. I love this camera that Eddie gives us here. It's so awesome to just watch these 4 cars in a line fight it out here for these top positions.
Yeah, and for the most part, the field has single filed out at the moment, but you know, it's again very early in the race. No need to make any unnecessary moves. You're going to have some of the battles through the middle of the pack, but for the most part, this top 5 is kind of running away with it at the moment.
Top 5 really moving away with it. Jacob Denson is over a second ahead of the 6th place car of Jake Ham. So you'll see 5 cars in a line and then 5 more cars in a line back there. So we got a few straight lines of 5. The second pack there led by the 87 of Jake Ham. Jake Ham looking well in our points right now, currently sitting 9th, 33 points above the cut line. Would you call that safe, Logan?
You know, this late in the season, if he can take home a top 10 finish tonight, I would say that he's pretty well locked in. It's going to be hard to, you know, just lose that much of a gap to, you know, your remaining 9, 10, 11, 12th position in the points. So I would say, I don't want to jinx him by any means, but he's in a very good position right now.
Well, very good position for the 87 of Jake Ham. He's had some great finishes here in the regular season. He's been unable to get that win. He's had a 2nd place finish and other ones as well. So Jake Ham right now sitting pretty well. Like you said, we've got right behind him in 10th, we've got Craig Bontrager, 10th in point standings. I mean, he's 9th out on the track, and he's looking pretty good as well. 19 points ahead, not quite as safe. Started 10th tonight. He's up 1 position there, but what does Craig Bontrager need to do tonight, Logan, for him to feel a little bit safer?
You know, Las Vegas is a lot less technical of a track. So, again, a top 10 finish here would put him in a great situation going into the last race of the regular season. If he can make his way up there to a top 5 finish, obviously that's much better. But, you know, just with how technical Phoenix can really be, it's not going to be an easy one for Craig to get up there.
Well, I think a lot of these guys are looking for clean finishes. I accept a lot, especially some of those guys along near the cut line, but we'll get to them here soon. But first, I would like to shout out the Veterans for Life Racing. They are a race team with the goal of fielding a truck next season in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. They are veteran-based and focused on helping veterans across all of the racing world. They're also heavily involved with many veteran nonprofits to raise awareness and funds. Goat Locker Racing is now partnered with them, and they are the title sponsor of the Friday Night Truck Series. So thank you, Veterans for Life Racing, for all that you do here with Goat Locker Racing. Talking about Veterans for Life, as we know, all these drivers out here fighting hard, have fought in real life and fighting hard on the track right now. Jeremy Gardner, Jake Ham has caught up to him, and they're fighting back and forth. Gardner's now leading that 2nd pack that we talked about.
Yeah, that first 5 have kind of split away from the rest of the field at the moment, but Jeremy Gardner doing a fantastic job keeping some distance between himself and that 87 of Ham, while Ham has Mullins just hunting him down at the moment, looking for any little bit of a mistake. Take full advantage of that and hopefully claim the 7th position. Bontrager lays in wait as well.
Bontrager lays right there, still sitting in 9th, right behind that 66 of Jamie Mullins, trying to keep it smooth here as we're coming to complete lap 32 of this race. So a little less, we're almost a third of the way there. We've had green flag. We had 2 cautions, excuse me, earlier. A few early cautions. Cautions have not bred cautions quite yet. Trying not to jinx something, knock on my wooden desk here. Looking along with the 66 of Mullins, but we're getting close. These guys have run just about 25 laps, 24 here on this set of tires. You talked about 25 green flag laps earlier, you said, Logan. What are they looking for here about pit stops? As we got Mullins still hunting after Ham.
You know, a lot of these drivers still looking very smooth on the track, so we might see this first pit cycle extend a little bit longer. Definitely helps having the cooler temperatures of the night race. No sun beating down on the track, so we, you know, most of my Phoenix races have been in the daylight, so we should be all right there. And I know these trucks can handle about 60 to 65 laps on fuel. So we might see a couple of them extended out to that if they can keep the truck nice and smooth, and you know, most importantly, that transition through the dog leg. If they can handle that as well as they have been so far, won't see all of that extra tire wear that I mentioned earlier.
Well, Ryan, we've only had about a second of fall off. Leader Levi McCarty's best lap is a 27.3. He just ran a 28.2, now a 28.3, so only a second of fall off here, even for the fastest car. So, Eddie, we're going to bring in our producer, Eddie Smith, here, because he's going to talk about something really cool that is happening here along with Goat Locker. So, Eddie, come in and tell me here about this SimRig giveaway that we've got going on.
Yeah, Goat Locker, obviously a nonprofit organization. Thank y'all for having me, and glad to be up here with y'all. Y'all doing a great job. But yeah, I mean, some awesome things happening in the past week or so. They gave a SimRig, thanks to Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, to John Houchin out of Indiana, and they gave it to him the other day. He's an Army veteran with combat tours in Afghanistan. He was a Green Beret, man. Incredible, lives in Bloomington, Indiana. So want to shout out Goat Locker. That's what this is all about. Yes, we do racing, but it's all about the nonprofit, what is going on behind the scenes. Let's take a look at this quick video and show that where Patrick Drabick delivered that SimRig.
Alrighty, folks. Goat Locker Racing getting ready to head south, drop off another veteran SimRig. This one's going to John. He's about 50 minutes south of me, so we're loaded up, ready to go. Let's go get this thing delivered.
I tell you, folks, this is one of the best things about Goat Locker Racing and being a part of this organization is to be able to deliver one of these rigs. It's all loaded up here in the back. There's that PC from Alexander PCs. Cockpits in the bed of the truck from Next Level Racing. We got the wheel and pedals from Sim Motion. Man, this is going to be an awesome trip to meet John, get him this equipment, and then get him on track with us. So we'll see you here soon.
Just got home. Awesome trip down to Bloomington, Indiana to deliver that SimRig to John Houchin. But I can't say thanks enough to everybody that supports us. NVETS, you are awesome. You're the reason we were able to identify John and get him that SimRig. Cruising Classics will be set up there this Friday. Nasties will be set up there Saturday. Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs is because of the grant money and your graciousness that we're able to do what we do now. And all the other supporters that we have from the Veterans for Life Foundation, Veterans for Life Racing, at Jam Printing and Promotions. It was just an awesome trip, and I'm so glad we get to do this, and we're going to do it again on Saturday in Ohio, so stay tuned, and thanks everybody. What an awesome day.
Yeah, really cool to see that, and Goat Locker was actually up at Cruising Classics today. They had the SimRig set up, and they're going to be in Hilliard, Ohio tonight, which they already are. Goat Locker's got the SimRig set up. They're going to give away the SimRig to Gary Cox tomorrow at halftime of the Ohio State game. So if you're near Hilliard, Ohio, run up to Nasty's, have a few cold ones, and go meet Goat Locker guys and say hello to Gary and tell him to get into Discord. Let's get to racing. Back to you, Scott.
Well, thank you for that, Eddie. It's awesome, you know, and we're only able to do giveaways like that. Goat Locker is able to do things like that because of all of our sponsors that allow us to be able to do that. So really thankful to all of our partners. Obviously, we're going to talk about them all because they're all extremely important to us here at Goat Locker Racing, especially in the Veterans for Life Truck Series. Still the same out in the order. A little hard to pass here tonight. We've got Jacob Denson falling a little bit right now, fighting with Jamie Mullins.
Yeah, I've been watching this battle kind of progress as, you know, we had that video playing, and man, it's been pretty heated back here between the 66 and the 79, kind of side by side the entire time. But finally, Jamie Mullins able to get around the 79 of Jacob Denson. He'll be looking to chase down the back of the 87 of Jake Ham.
Ham stayed in 6th spot for pretty long. Jeremy Gardner finally got back to where he started this race. He fell 2 positions down to 7th, but right now he's back up to 5th, where he started kind of on an island right here, Logan. Just no one really around him. He's just kind of hunting. And man, we still haven't seen anybody pit. This makes me think, I was going to talk about this, we got to talk about the sim rig, but you talk about 60 to 65 laps on fuel. Do you think we're going to see these guys try to split it 1 pit stop down the middle?
I could very well see that. These trucks are handling so much better than I had expected. Definitely a lot to do with the temperature that, Phoenix is always naturally hot. And with no sun beating down on the track right now, as you see the track conditions, 78 degrees, 82 on the track surface. This is perfect time to just try your best to split that and make it a one pit stop race.
You're thinking about 82 degrees for the track temperature. I mean, normally when you think about 82, that's a little bit hot for the air temperature. But for the track out here in Arendelle, Arizona, I mean, that's almost ice for the track. And that tells you why we haven't had as much fall off as we normally do. Looking along here at Chuck Phelps, our big man, always in that 75 car. Always loved to see his driver cam out here. He's on the driver cam without fail every week. Right now, Chuck Phelps running in 14th position, right where he started.
Yeah, Phelps doing a fantastic job of just keeping this driving smooth. That's what it's going to boil down to. From the last time that we worked together, Scott, I am all about consistency at these racetracks, especially something like Phoenix. You have to hit your marks consistently and perfectly every single time if you want to make any sort of progress. Chuck Phelps doing exactly that. He's hitting his marks, making sure that he's not losing positioning, and it's just going to be a matter of time before we see him start making his way up through the field.
Logan, there's a phrase I've heard from you about consistency. Go ahead and hit me with it.
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot, Scott. I say a lot about consistency.
You do, I know, that's what I'm saying.
There's so many different phrases that I use week to week on these broadcasts, and but I mean, consistency.
I would say
is
for
key.
you, it's always that. There it is. That's what I was hoping you would say. You say it a lot. You talk about consistency, and you're right. That's why I was looking along here with Jamie Barkas, Jacob Ellingson fighting for 3rd position. They've been staying consistent in the top 5. So you talked about it, and you talk about it a lot, Logan, and we talk about it a lot as broadcasters of people that watch racing, because consistency is one of the things, like you said, that will move you up in the field wherever you're racing, whether it's in the sim, whether it's real life, no matter what, consistency is key. And so Jacob Ellingson has consistently stayed in 3rd, and he'll continue to stay in 3rd as he's hold off the advances of that 15 car. Well, talking about consistency, we've also had consistent sponsors like we talked about. We're going to start off with Jam Printing and Promotions. We saw the Pole Award here from Cody McElwain, and we've also got them forming since 2013. Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning. Local veteran certified. When they do well, they do good in the community. So thank you, Jam Printing and Promotions. Another thank you for Veterans for Life Foundation. Veterans for Life Foundation, their goal is to both revitalize communities and support military veterans and their families to a successful transition into civilian life. Through supporting services, counseling, and education, they provide permanent, affordable housing to veterans and their families. So big thanks to Veterans for Life Foundation and Jam Printing and Promotions. Coming up here, completing lap 53 of this race, getting close to halfway, not quite there. I'm more thinking about that we're going to go one pit stop here, Logan, which is crazy to think about in a track like Phoenix, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like any time I've ever been out here, track temperature's always been, 110 to 120 degrees. So to see this track sitting around that low 80s area, it's makes me wish I got to race at night more here.
Well, that's what I was gonna, normally. I mean, we can do anything we want in the sim, which is one of the beauties of iRacing. But any race we ever see here in all three national NASCAR series, all the races are normally during the day. So it's not often that we get night races from Phoenix. I think sometimes the ARCA series has done it, as we've got Cody McElwain, your pole sitter, who's currently been sitting second, your first in here for pit stops, along with the 15 of Barkus.
This could be a very, very dangerous move here that might not allow him to reach that one stop. It's pretty early. Unless he just felt like he needed to, I'm not sure this is the call for Cody.
I'm not sure. Cody Matt, he was running a 28.6 here recently, so not that much fall off from what we were running almost 10 laps ago with leader Levi McCarty. McCarty out there running a 28.6 as well, so pretty similar on lap time. With McElwain pitting now, I think that's a little bit over 70 laps that he would have to go, a little bit out of our fuel window. Looking along here with the 25 of James Kaufman coming into his pit with that awesome paint scheme from Kaufman Farms. But a little over 70 laps for McElwain. He's gonna have to save fuel if he wants to make it a one stop, but I don't know how possible that is. We're looking at him back here on the racetrack.
Yeah, unless I just don't have the best information on the fuel window, it's not going to work in the long run. But, you know, one thing we haven't touched base on here recently is the Dash for Cash drivers, as Levi McCarty's still in first place and one of those eligible drivers. So, but to bring it up, with those pit cycles there we just saw, Jeremy Gardner has placed himself up in second, also an eligible driver for the Dash for Cash. A little bit further back here, James Kaufman, he's about mid-pack where I just lost his name. I saw him and I lost him. James Kaufman back in 18th at the moment. Got Howie DiSavino right around the same area in 14th. And then lastly, David Duke obviously getting caught up in that first caution incident. He is all the way back in 20th position. So not the best day for him, especially for being a Dash for Cash driver.
Well, David Duke looking for a little bit better here, 3 laps down after his pit cycle. So, you know, Logan, when was the last time you had a math class? Because I'll tell you what mine was. My last math class was 3 years ago, senior year of high school.
I think I've got you beat, Scott. I'm looking at about almost 10 years.
Okay, yeah, I think you got me beat. I think we're both bad at math here because Eddie Smith has given me a little bit of information. We're talking about McElwain being able to make it, pitted at lap 55. Well, 55 plus 65 is 120, which is 5 over the way we need to go, which is more than our 2 green-white checkers. So I think he's going to be good to make it. And I think you and me might need to go back to math class.
You know, there's a running joke with myself and Bradley Cooper, who was on the broadcast last week. You know, the V-Speed broadcasters here, we're pretty decent at what we do on the broadcast, but we're definitely no mathematicians by any means.
Hey, look, I mean, I'm at school right now majoring in broadcast, and let me tell you, I have not had a math class in my college career, so it's been a hot minute, as you can see here, fans, as the math me and Logan are trying to do here up in the booth. Currently looking along here with Jamie Mullins right now, falling back a little bit right now. He has not pitted yet. Your top 10 drivers have not pitted yet. Everyone else has been in for their service. So right now, top 10 have not pitted. When will they pit, Logan?
You know, it's only a matter of time, really. We're not looking at a whole lot of fall off. Last time by, Levi McCarty turning that 28.363, and his best lap time is a 27.314. He's got the fastest lap time on the track, only a little over a second of fall off with these 64 lap old tires. So, you know, it's going to come down to fuel. It's got to be soon.
It's got to be soon, because right now, coming up to complete lap 65, which is our fuel window. We had a few cautions, so they were using less fuel under those cautions, but I've got to guess that they've got 3-4 laps max with some of those cautions. So I've got to imagine some of these top 10 are coming in. As we'll see, the 42 of Gardner is in the pit lane, along with some other cars, James Goshen, Chance Taylor, some of those other guys. So some of these top contenders coming to pit. 66 of Mullins is in the pit. So I think they're coming here pretty soon, Logan, to try to make it all the way to the end.
And Jeremy Gardner in that 42, he dropped out of second place to come down the pit road, but Levi McCarty's still plugging away at some laps. I don't know how much he's got left in the tank.
I'm not sure either. 66 laps completed now. Looking along here in that driver cockpit with McCarty. So cool to see this view. I mean, we've talked about it already, but such a cool track. I mean, it's so awesome. We see him get a little bit loose there out of 4. And his tires have got to be going here. Just ran a 28.5. So 1.2 seconds off of his best lap. Led 52 tonight. So McElwain was able to lead the first few here. I'm gonna say 12 because I'm not gonna do quick math in my head because we've already talked about math tonight. But McCarty, our biggest lap leader of the night, still out. Leader of our Dash for Cash, has not been able to get the win yet. Logan, he's the top sitter of our points of guys without a win. So if he was gonna win tonight, I think we talked about it, would be our 9th winner of the season.
Yeah, McCarty currently sitting 7th in points. He's plus 34 on the cut line with
Caution
no win.
is out. This is right in the middle of your pit stop. Oh my goodness. The 85 gets tagged. That's James Goshen. He was, backs into the pit wall. We saw him spun off of turn 2, sitting in the middle of the track, and he was tagged.
Yeah, that was the 27 of Jacob Ellingson there that got into him.
Ellingson was running top 3 before the pit stops. We'll take a look back here at what happened to the 85 of Goshen. Running out of turn 2 right now, just gets loose like we saw Browning earlier. Locks it down here, try to keep away from the track. Still sitting there. He starts to back up. McElwain, that was your pole sitter that barely makes it by. Ellingson on the inside, and Goshen tags him.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you got to do in front of the field like that is just lock the brakes down, let them get by you. You're obviously going to lose a lot of positioning, but as long as they're paying attention to what's through their windscreen, they're going to be able to avoid you. Like this here, he sees him and goes low, but with that car moving, he can't adjust for that quick enough.
No, there's almost no time. We saw Goshen, he did a good job by locking it down, but then he started reversing on the live racetrack into the racing line. Your pole sitter of McElwain barely made it through, and then 3rd place before the pit stops, Ellingson was unable to avoid. I think with the caution coming out, he should be good, and iRacing will give him his position, but he's got to hope that he doesn't have any damage.
Yeah, that was a big hit to the inside wall as you saw those wheels cocked immediately left. You know, that could have done some tie rod damage. It might not have, but one thing to mention, the force feedback on these racing sim wheels, it's a very dangerous game whenever it goes full left like that in a hurry too.
Well, we saw this caution come out during the middle of our pit cycle. Most of our drivers, 18 of our 22 drivers that are in this field tonight had pitted. Meanwhile, McCarty, Denison, Bontrager, and Stubblefield had yet to pit. Bontrager is up into 3rd position now. If he was to finish 3rd tonight, we talked about it, 19 points above the cut line, but if he was able to finish top 3, even top 5 tonight, what would that look like for him? We talked about what he would want to look like to look safe here, but a 3rd to top 5 finish, that'd be great for him.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with how James Goshen in the 85 is currently sitting back in 18th position, 1 lap down. You know, that's his immediate contender for that 10th spot. So if he can come away with that top 5 and Goshen stays in the back of the field, that'll be a great outcome for Craig Bontrager and just a huge boost in the points.
This is a big hit for Goshen. That was that 85 who spun. Currently sitting 11th. 4 points to the good to our regular season cut line to make these playoffs. So in the back here, he needs to find a way to gain some positions back, because finishing back there in the back 15 he might drop below the cut line, especially if Chance Taylor, Steve McDonald can do well here tonight. But Stephen McDonald right now in 5th position.
And Chance Taylor also a lap down back there in 13th, so he is also at a high risk, especially with, well, I take it back, Jim Kaufman there in the 25. Obviously some issues earlier on in the race. He's 2 laps down, so we might see a total mix-up in the back half of these playoff drivers.
Well, because we talked about it. McCarty right now 34 points to the good, as we're going to see the pace car come down here. We're going to continue to talk about this all night long. Dan Cunningham, 33 points to the good. Ham, 33 points to the good. But right here, back along the cut line, it is really close with Bontrager, Goshen, Taylor, McDonald, and Kaufman. So all these guys in the field tonight, and it's they're not safe whatsoever.
No, there is no such thing as safe.
Cars trying to catch up here on the inside line. A lot of these cars have pitted, did the wave around. That's why you see them all single file on the bottom, as we've got green out here. Levi McCarty leads the field in the restart for the first time as he's led almost all night tonight.
Yeah, McCarty doing a great job of defending that #1 position all night long. And really the biggest contender that he had was Cody McElwain, who started on the pole, but you know, he's fallen all the way back to 6th place now. So we've got
Mike Browning.
4 car?
Yeah, that's Mike Browning, who was our first caution of the night. See him on this restart, cutting the dog leg here. I believe that's Chance Taylor on his outside, the 14 car who you were talking about. A little bit high there. Yep, Browning just loses it yet again in 1 and 2. Oh, then nailed by Jamie Barkis, who earlier was running in 4th position.
Barkis back to 12th after that incident there.
You gotta imagine what damage does he have at the front of that truck. But look at this. Craig Bontrager running in 2nd position after he started in 10th, up 8 from the start of this race.
And another big mover here, Howie DiSavino, one of those Dash for Cash drivers. He's made his way up to the top 5 now. The first time we've seen him up here tonight. Started out there in 13th, now up 9 positions so far. He's got Jacob Denson right ahead of him. You can just see him up there at the top of the screen.
Man, they are close. You got Timothy Stubblefield in that 92, that green and camo car right on the bumper of DiSavino's. We got caution out yet again here at Phoenix.
That is going to be the 99 of Brandon Wallace towards the back of the pack. I think he just got loose. I didn't quite catch what happened, but for the most part, yeah.
Well, Chance Taylor there in that pink and blue car on the inside of that 99 of Brandon Wallace right now, side by side down the straightaway. A little bit of harsh contact there. Brandon Wallace came down a little bit off the wall, trying to maybe get Chance Taylor there a little bit offline. Taylor looked like he hooked a little bit of a right there. Not sure if that was purposeful. He was upset there. We'll take another look back at it. Through turn 1 and 2 here, like we talked about, side by side here on the roof cam of Taylor, panning to the outside of Brandon Wallace. Wallace on the outside, going to come down, but then we've got a little bit of a right turn from Taylor.
It's a lot of assistance there from Taylor. Again, not sure if that was intentional by any means, but not really necessary. And he, as you can see from the input on the steering wheel there, he knew he made the contact and he held it right.
Well, you got to wonder, was he maybe getting a little bit loose from that contact with Wallace on the outside? You know, when you get a door smack like that, even if it looks like it wasn't that heavy, when you get a smack like that, sometimes your car, I mean, it can start turning left. So sometimes you have to turn to correct. So you've got to wonder if he tried to correct it there. I imagine that's what it was, because, you know, one of the things I love here about the Goat Locker Truck Series is a lot of these drivers not hostile. I mean, a lot of these guys do not race like that. So I don't think that Chance Taylor was trying to turn in on purpose. So, but it didn't look well, but I think he just probably got a little bit loose from that contact, Logan.
Yeah, it very well could have been, but you know, one thing I do have to give props to is the driver, the 99. he locked those brakes down, let those other cars pass him before he ever even thought about putting the foot back to the floor on the gas pedal.
A great job from Wallace there. Currently sitting back in 21st position. I also want to shout out tonight Cruisin' Classics. Cruisin' Classics is located in Columbus, Ohio. Cruisin' Classics has a beautiful 56,000, it's huge, 56,000 square foot showroom filled with hundreds of unique automobiles. There's something for everybody out here with their hand-picked selection of muscle cars and hot rods. So if you're in the Columbus, Ohio area, come on down and visit the facility today and check out their websites at cruisingclassicsinc.com. Also want to shout out Hidden Wit Brewery. Hidden Wit Brewery Company was born from the desire to help you to find a little escape from the world outside of our doors. Their focus from the beginning has always been to drink craftable beers for you to enjoy, love, and to enjoy. They're a majority veteran owned and the title sponsor of the Tuesday Truck Xfinity Series here at Goat Locker Racing. So thank you to Cruising Classics and Hidden Wit Brewery for all you do. I think after this race, I would enjoy something from the Hidden Wit Brewery, Logan.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a nice drink of choice would be perfect. But, you know, one thing I do want to ask you, Scott, we touched base on it last time we worked together a couple weeks ago, but you never answered the question back. We got a little bit of time as the pace car's coming down. But, you know, last time you asked me what my favorite classic car was, and you did not give us an answer back. What is your favorite classic car?
I'm glad you asked. I'm really glad you asked. Mine is a 1965 Mustang. My mother actually had a 1965 Mustang. It is still in our family, and my grandfather has actually given it to me now, and it's in my possession. So my favorite is a 65 Mustang in light blue, like the blue walls of this racetrack at Phoenix. We're going here, green yet again. McCarty leads the field as everybody dives down low.
And we've got 3 wide back here for 4th position.
The 79 is in the
shuffling.
Denson losing 2 positions for the restart. Bontrager retains 2nd. Meanwhile, McElwain and Denson side by side into 3, followed by DiSavino.
DiSavino just waiting for his moment to get past both of these drivers, put himself a little bit closer to the back of the 24. These are the closest opportunities that we've seen for these Dash for Cash drivers tonight.
They're getting closer and closer together as we've got these 3 cars right here under a blanket. DiSavino gets a little bit loose off the corner. Meanwhile, McElwain right in front of him. And Denson. Oh man, they're so close. DiSavino right on the bumper of Denson.
You know, as we inch closer to the end of this race, you might consider giving that car ahead of you just a little bit of a tap, move them up the racetrack, get the line that you want, and clear them away from it.
You've got to be so careful when making a move like that here, Logan, because we talked about it. Near the end of a run here, these cars get looser and looser, and even the slightest contact can send a car around. So to be able to do that, you've got to have extreme skill, but it can be done. It is possible.
Yeah, and it's a showcase whenever you get to see a driver make that move. Obviously, not the cleanest of racing moves, but sometimes necessary.
Hey, look, I think if you don't spin a guy out, whoa, DiSavino got a little bit loose there off of 2 down to the bottom. He kept it straight. He's going to lose a few positions here to Jeremy Gardner and Jake Ham there, but he was able to keep it straight. Great job from DiSavino there to save that race car.
Yeah, that puts Gardner closer to McCarty for that Dash for Cash prize. Savino loses 2 positions behind him.
Gardner, that 2nd place car in terms of the Dash for Cash here tonight. Talk about a show from McCarty as we'll see Gardner and Ham here fight it out back to try to just get it into the top 5. But what a show from Levi McCarty here. Led most of the laps tonight. Once he has gotten out front, he has stayed out front, Logan.
Yeah, that's how you have to be at this track. You know, keep yourself out of the mix as best as you can. That way you don't get collected whenever, you know, we've seen a couple times already these self-spins that happen at Phoenix because of how flat this track is. It's definitely interesting, but, you know, Ham with the advantage over Gardner right now. about a 10-lap difference between the tires on those two trucks. So we might see Ham put some distance between the 87 and the 42.
Yeah, like you said, a difference there in their tires. So we're going to have to see how long they can hold it out here. But man, what a great fight here from these guys. Love to see it out here. Looking along the roof cam, and I'll say it all night long, Logan. I love this roof cam. Looking along with Jake Ham, trying to bring the fight to Bontrager. Bontrager trying to stay in that top 5. We talked about him a lot tonight. The caution earlier during the pit stops fell beautifully for him, but he's lost 2 positions here from this restart.
Yeah, the restarts are tough, especially whenever McCarty gets such a massive jump right off the rip. You know, he's already out almost 2 seconds to second place, Cody McElwain. But, you know, it's Phoenix after all. It's bound to have more incidents happen, especially in the closing laps when we have a lot more drivers battling for a specific position.
These drivers getting a little bit more heated as, man, Ham had a huge run out of turn 2. They're able to easily pass Bontrager, open the door for Gardner, trying to fight to break into the top 5, but Bontrager is going to do his best to defend away here into 1 and 2. But man, I love this battle. I love this fight. Bontrager is putting up a great one as we look along with Ham there in that 87, now trying to bring it up into the podium positions on Jacob Denson.
Jacob Denson doing a fantastic job himself, staying right there with McElwain as best as he can. McElwain obviously showing speed early in this race, setting that pole position. He knows how to race this track pretty well, but Denson not letting him out of his sights by any means.
Not letting him out of sight, 7/10 back here, but he's gotta focus. I'm not gonna lie, out of his mirror right now, because as we know, Ham is really strong. As you see, man, huge run through the center there, trying to carry momentum to the outside. He'll dive down to the dog leg, and he'll bring it side by side with Denson here into 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'd say we'll see Ham really start to catch up with the leaders here, having that massive tire advantage. 10 laps does not sound like a lot, but I promise you, at a track like Phoenix, it is everything to have that tire advantage.
Tire advantage is huge. Gotta wonder, Ham moving up into the 3rd position, is there enough time? Can he bring the fight here to Levi McCarty? Right now, Ham running a 27.8, McCarty running a 28.0, 2/10 faster. Is there enough time?
You know, mathematically, maybe not, but as Ham has worked around some of these drivers, he's got more of an open field, a better choice of lanes to choose from. If he can change it up and find that fast lap time that he can set, then there's a good possibility we might see him catch up. And of course, you know, as mentioned earlier, as these drivers in the middle of the pack really start to battle for position in the closing laps, if Jake Ham as we see the 49
Swingers
sideways.
Oh, hammers the inside wall. No caution. Still green out here on track, but man, Bontrager hammers the inside wall out of turn 2.
I was just about to mention a potential caution would be such a favor for Jake Ham at the moment. Tighten this field back up, and if the leaders don't pit, man, what a recovery by Bontrager. That was a fantastic drive through that corner.
I would say he was very much assisted by the inside wall. Gotta wonder what damage he has now, as Bontrager now currently back in the field. Trying to look at my charts to see where he's at. Currently down in 10th, as he's got the 78 right on his outside. That's David Duke, who won last week. But Bontrager, he's fallen now back to his starting position of 10th. So big hit for the inside wall. Heavy left front damage on that race car.
Yeah, that left front completely caved in. A lot of that front left tire exposed at the moment. That's going to be a lot of work for the body crew once that gets back to the shop.
Yeah, a lot of work for the iRacing body crew. I got to imagine that truck won't be able to go forward, at least naturally. Now we're looking along with Gardner. Dives it into 1 and 2 here on the 79 of Denson. Jeremy Gardner will move it up into 4th position. And Mullins in 6th, looking here at the back of Denson as well. Well, meanwhile, we're going to have our final 2 title sponsors here. I'd first like to thank InVets. InVets aids in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placements and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They are a veteran nonprofit in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to the state to live and to work. They are the title sponsor of the Sunday Truck Series. Huge thanks to InVets. And we talked about it earlier. I know they're still playing the race right now. That's Nasty's Restaurant and Bar. On March 21st of 2012, Nasty's opened its doors in Hilliard, Ohio. From the get-go, they aim to embody the energy and passion their sons Nathan and John poured into their dreams. Nathan's commitment to hospitality has ensured that every guest received exceptional food and service. They are the co-sponsor of the Wednesday's Next Gen series here at Goat Locker, and they have hosted numerous fundraisers in their establishment with the goal of raising funds to donate a sim rig to a deserving veteran or responder, just like we saw tonight. Huge thanks to InVets and Nasty's Restaurant and Bar. I kind of wish I was near Ohio right now, Logan, because I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, man, it's about a 6.5-hour drive to either one of those locations over there, the Cruisin' Classics and Nasty's Restaurant and Bar. But, you know, at some point, I'm going to have to make a trip out there, mostly, you know, for the food, obviously, but mostly just for the message that this group of sponsors comes together and puts everything together with the Goat Locker Racing Series. It's you know, awesome to see all these guys come together and put stuff on for these veterans that serve for our country and put their lives on the line. I love everything about it.
That's why we're here to do this, Logan, because these guys deserve to be honored with what they've done out here for our countries. We'll see Jamie Mullins right now able to pass Jacob Denson. Denson been falling through the field here pretty recently on a little bit older tires than some of these other guys.
Yeah, but I mean, looking at the statistics here, Jamie Mullins, he's got about 4 laps older of the tires than Jacob Denson, at least by my stats. So it seems that Denson may be overdriving that 79 machine a little too early. Maybe got a little bit of extra wear, a little bit more heat in those tires. It's almost contact with the wall on that static camera. That was close.
Little early there. Jacob Denson just being passed by that 27 of Ellingson. Ellingson currently 2 laps down from that incident earlier we saw with the 85 of Goshen. So 2 laps down is that 27, 3 laps down. Ellingson earlier was running within our top 5.
And just to recap here on the Dash for Cash drivers, we've got Levi McCarty still sitting in first. Jeremy Gardner is back in 4th. This is the closest he's been to that top spot for the $60. Howie DiSavino back in 9th. And we have Jim Kaufman back in 15th and David Duke back in 18th at the moment. So a little spread out on those 5 drivers, but 3 of them still up here in the top 10.
Man, again, we talked about it earlier before that caution, but huge shout out to Levi McCarty. I mean, he is dominated here tonight as we'll get 10 laps to go here at the line. McCarty continues to dive down on that dog leg, but with a almost 2-second lead in front of pole sitter McElwain.
Yeah, worst case scenario for McCarty right now would be a caution, but you know, you'd have to imagine for that all-out brawl of the last couple of laps, you would see a majority of this field come down 4 tires. You might see a couple of them stick it out there and see if they can make something happen, but it's highly unlikely if you see that leader come down pit road that you would not see the rest of the field come right behind him.
That would be a almost nightmare situation for McCarty, having to decide to pit or not. 37 laps on this set of tires, so very old here for him. Currently running a 28.2. Meanwhile, earlier we were running 27 4s and 5s, so a little bit under a second off the pace. And Eddie just said it. I do not want to. He's talking about manifesting a caution. I don't even know if I want that because that would invoke chaos here in this field.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with a little chaos, Scott.
Oh my goodness. It would be insane because right now, McCarty, if he stays where he's at, he's going to win the Dash for Cash tonight. He's going to lock himself into the playoffs for certain. So I know he doesn't want one. I know some of these guys like McElwain, Ham, Gardner, and Mullins, they wouldn't be opposed.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it tightens up the field. McCarty obviously has just completely dominated this race well over, I'd say, even 75% of the laps led tonight. So by the end of this, he'll be closing in on 100 laps led.
Yeah, he's right now currently at 93. I think it'll be exactly 100 laps here if we take it to the finish from here on out. But man, you talked about it with a caution. Some of these other guys, they wouldn't be opposed because a caution bunches up the field. It can just create dive bombs and moves. I mean, if we had a caution, I think we would use both of the green, white checkers we have available tonight.
That is without a doubt in my mind that both of those would be used. But, another thing to keep in mind, Levi McCarty, that 24 machine, if he can hold this position down with 5 to go, that's going to make our 9th winner of the season.
I cannot believe that. I've been with Goat Locker in and out here for the past 2 seasons, so some of the guys that have been here longer with us here at VSeed will have to tell me if this is true, but I don't know if we've ever had 9 different winners before, but that's a crazy stat line, and I can't imagine that we've had that before. I'd be surprised.
To my knowledge, we haven't, but I also haven't been here too terribly long. But, man, that's, like you said, just an insane stat line.
McCarty right now just trying to run this out. 9 different winners in 9 races is what we're talking about. 3 to go as McCarty comes across the line, trying to keep it smooth, Logan.
And doing his best as he can. That's all that matters right now.
Keeping it conservative. You can see him running the top line there, make sure he doesn't spin it out. We talked about it. 43 laps now on this set of tires. So a lot of these drivers in the field really easy to get loose as we're going to come across the line. Now 2 laps to go.
Man, McCarty just putting on an absolute show all night.
McCarty putting on the show, looking along here with McElwain, currently still 1.8 seconds back behind McCarty. No gain, but meanwhile, Jake Ham is trying to make some gain. Will he have enough time to make the pass to try to get to second? McCarty, he's going to take the white flag here at Phoenix Raceway. Whatever happens will be official here for this 24 car. Rounding out through 1 and 2, keeping it smooth like we said across the high line. Out of turn 2 along the back straightaway. Start finish line used to be here in the old before the repave, but still this is now 3 and 4. He sits 34 points above the cut line, but that won't matter anymore. It's a win for the 24 of McCarty.
Man, just an outstanding drive all night. McCarty, one of those eligible drivers for the Dash for Cash. He takes home that $60, but most importantly, completely solidifies his bid into the playoffs here.
See him doing a little bit of a weave there. Extremely excited. McCarty, he's had great finishes. That's why he was the points leader of our non-winners. But what won't matter here tonight is he's locked himself here into the playoffs. Time to do some celebratory burnouts.
Hey, Scott, I have to give you props on your quick mental math. That was exactly 100 laps led.
I know. I know. I was proud of myself. I saw 93 and I was like, we got 7 to go. Thank you. Really appreciate that one. I think it's because I've had a math class at least 7 years before you.
You know what? We don't have to talk about that.
Hey, look, you're further along than me, but congratulations, Levi McCarty. We're going to be able to get them all in the booth here soon, but while he celebrates these burnouts, we're going to have a quick commercial break before we get our interviews here with our top 3 drivers.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Back here at Phoenix Raceway, we've still got winner of Levi McCarty. We're going to have him here in the booth, and we're going to bring him in just a moment. But man, what a dominant performance. But right now we're going to go through race results. Obviously, winner McCarty out there. In second, the 6 of Cody McElwain, and in third, the 87 of Jake Ham. Followed up by the 42 of Gardner. Rounding out the top 5 will be that 66 of Mullins. The 79 of Jacob Denson will bring it up 6th, and 92 of Timothy Stubblefield will be in 7th. Scott Phelps in that 11 car will bring it to 8th. Howie DiSabino saw him have a crazy save off of turn 2. He'll bring it into 9th. And rounding out your top 10 will be that 49 of Bontrager, currently sitting 19 points above the cut line.
Following that top 10, we've got the 64 of Matt Knights with a great drive tonight, up 7 positions from his starting spot. In 12th, Stephen McDonald. He is our second biggest gainer of the race, up 10 positions from his starting position. Chuck Pegleg Phelps in the 75 takes home 13th tonight. 14th will go to the 14 of Chance Taylor. Jim Kaufman in the 25, a little bit of a rough race for him, but he does recover. Back up to the 15th position, 2 laps down. James Goshen will take home 16th position in that 85 truck. Jacob Ellingson in 17th. David Duke, a very rough race for him tonight. Unfortunate, down 6 positions. Finishes out in 18th. Mike Browning will take home the 19th position, and rounding out the top 20 in the 15, Jamie Barkas.
Back in the back, we'll have that 99 of Brandon Wallace. Him and George Jewell got into a few scuffles tonight, and then in the 23rd and final position, the 33 of Tyler Justice did not join the race here tonight, but it's back up in the front. It's what we're talking about, the 24 of Levi McCarty. Levi, you got me?
I gotcha.
Man, what a dominant performance here tonight. Let's go back to the beginning of this race. Obviously, you started mid-pack, not mid-pack, you started in the top 10, but talk to me about that opening, those few cautions, and talk to me about what you were thinking about on those restarts.
Yeah, the first restart, I was able to get down to the inside and pick up some spots, and we got a quick caution. And then, I was able to work my way through, making some passes. And then where I kind of knew that it was going to potentially be my night was when I restarted second and was able to get the lead pretty quickly. That gave me a lot of confidence, and just being able to run the high line and get the truck to turn down and get on that bottom seam on exit was key for me tonight. And it was just something clicked for me. It was kind of like driving at IRP, and that's kind of what allowed me to get such good exit speed.
Yeah, saw your truck you were absolutely handling it very well. Saw you and McElwain fighting in some crossovers there, but man, you just had the speed tonight. Finished 1.8 seconds ahead of McElwain. You also won the Dash for Cash tonight. Tell me about how that makes you feel.
Yeah, I'm really pumped up. I mean, I'm really happy because, if it's going to be your night, it's a good night for it to be, because you're going to get paid. So, yeah, just thankful for the league doing cool events like that. They don't have to do stuff like that, but they go out of their way to do it. So, I'm really fortunate and happy to be the Dash for Cash winner.
100 laps led tonight. You're the 9th different winner of this season, Levi. And you're also, I think the most importantly, locked into the playoffs.
Yeah, finally. Tonight was kind of more like how I would like to perform in a race. I've had some good finishes in this league. Just kind of being there at the end, making some good moves. But tonight is kind of more leading a lot of laps and being able to close it out. So definitely excited for the playoffs.
Excited to see you in the playoffs. Congratulations, Levi, your winner tonight. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, appreciate it. Fairfield Auto Group, Fairfield Motorsports, as always. I thank those guys for giving me a sick paint to run and just supporting everything I do in iRacing. Lincoln Tech, Hidden Wit Brewery, Cruising Classics, of course, Nasty's Restaurant and Bar. I know that they're streaming the race tonight. Appreciate everything that they do for the league, and I was happy to put on a show for them tonight. Veterans for Life Foundation, InVets, Veterans for Life Racing, Jam Printing and Promotions, as always. McConey Setup Shop, thank you for a really fast setup, as always, to those guys. V-Speed, the broadcast, thank you guys. Top-notch stream and just a great show. Excellent. Thank you. And then NASRA 360.
Absolutely. Glad to have you here, Levi. Congratulations on the win tonight. You're locked in. Go celebrate, man.
Appreciate it, guys.
Well, that was your winner of the 24 of McCarty. Up next, your pole sitter coming home to finish second, the 6 of Cody McElwain, and he'll be with Logan.
Yeah, I've got Cody McElwain down here in pit road celebrating a second place finish. Obviously not the night that you were looking for. Starting on that pole, you led, the first handful of laps there. Tough battle with McCarty all night. You never really found yourself outside of the top 5 for too very long. Cody, run me down through it, man. Where do you feel like things might have fell a little bit short for you?
Man, like you said, I got the pole, felt real good about it. And, I kind of enjoy Phoenix, so felt good about the track. And I seen McCarty coming hard, and I thought he was just kind of running harder than what I was wanting to run. So I just kind of let him go on that initial pass, when I gave him the lead, thinking that I would be able to run him back down. But credit to him. I mean, all credit to him. He had some kind of line figured out there where he could run fast and not kill his tires, which I thought he would do. So, like I said, all credit goes to him on that. He had it figured out. I was trying it after about 3/4 into the race. I started trying it, and I just couldn't get comfortable with it. So, like I said, he had something figured out that the rest of us didn't. So, hats off to him.
That was one thing I like to touch on is the tire wear, especially at Phoenix. It definitely didn't fall off nearly as fast as I thought it would. Track temperature, a big play in that. We saw a lot of these guys making that, perfect split of the race right around the 60 lap mark to finish things out. And, you're on a little bit of a different strategy there for a bit. I believe you came in 5 laps earlier than most of the field.
Yeah, I kind of came in a couple laps ahead of halfway, thinking, my whole thought process there was trying to undercut McCarty and then hoping for maybe a caution towards the end or something, and then I was surprised at how many people stayed out as long as they did, and but there again, credit to them, it worked out just perfect for them with the caution falling when it did. So yeah, I don't know, man. He just had more speed than everybody else. Like I said, he had that. It was a funny line that he was running, but it was damn sure working.
Phoenix is all about adjustments, in my opinion. I mentioned it during the broadcast. It's very much a driver's track, and you two definitely had it figured out. You were sitting in the 3rd fastest lap in the session behind McCarty and Jamie Barkus back there. A little bit of an issue with him, but overall, fantastic race tonight. And going into Las Vegas next week, Cody, how are you feeling about that race?
Yeah, I feel good. I like all 1.5 miles. Especially anywhere where there's a little bit of tire wear, which I think there is at Vegas. It's been a while since I ran there, but I believe there's a little bit of tire wear there. So, like I said, those 1.5 miles are usually pretty good tracks for me. So we'll go in there and see what we can do.
Well, sounds like a plan to me, Cody. We will see you next week. But before you go tonight, anybody you'd like to say thanks to?
Yeah, I'd just like to run down our sponsors at Goat Locker Racing. Lincoln Tech, Hidden Wit Brewery, Cruising Classics, Nasty's Restaurant and Bar. I believe they're playing the race there live. So shout out to everybody there. Hope it was a good show for y'all. Veterans for Life Foundation, Veterans for Life Racing, InVets, Jam Printing and Promotions, McConey Setup Shop, V-Speed, NASA 360, Then I'd also like to mention the Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, Alexander PC, Sim Motion, Next Level Racing, iRacing, of course, Above the Yellow Line. And then I'd just like to shout out my teammates at Goat Locker Racing, Pat, Jamie, Jake, Alex, and Ron. And just like to thank y'all for what y'all do, man. Y'all do a great job, and we really appreciate it.
Cody, we love being here to support the Goat Locker Racing Series and everything that they stand for. But, sir, we will see you next week.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Appreciate it.
And we'll take it right back to Scott with our third place finisher, Jake Ham.
Hey guys. Yeah, we're gonna. Hey Jake, what's up, man? How you doing?
Oh, sorry.
You're good. Hey, you're feeling good. Third place, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah, man, it's nice to be back on the podium after last week. Last week was a rough run, and tonight I was feeling, man, it was kind of iffy there for a little bit on the wave around, the whole setup coming to green and things like that. And then I got rear-ended with Kaufman. I'm like, oh no, am I gonna get back up there or not? And but I did. And this track is so much fun with the setup. I had a blast tonight.
Oh, it looked like, I mean, you were all over the place in the best way possible. I mean, we saw you get mired back in the field and you were able to regroup and be able to come up back through the field like we saw. But 33 points to the good coming into this race here tonight at Phoenix. Third place finish. You're going to have, I think, some more points on the board. How does that make you feel headed into Las Vegas at the last round of the regular season?
I mean, it feels good, but I tell you what, I would love to have the W. I got to get the win. I would love, because of the points, to get the win, and then be on top dog, It always feels good. So, but that's what I need to work on. Need to take a little bit more risks here and there, not play so safe on some of my tire strategies, and just see what I can do since I have a little bit of leeway in the points. So we'll see if we can get that win.
Yeah, I mean, you've had excellent finishes here this season. That's why you're so high up within our playoff field with so many points. Tell me a little bit, dive deeper into those risks that you're talking about. What more do you need to do next week? Do you like your 33 points to the good? How much do you risk weighing with not being locked in next week?
Yeah, pretty much from most of my runs, you'll see I normally run really long because I'll normally hit a plateau in the tires, and where my lap times will stay pretty similar and not drop off that much, from having new tires. And normally I play that out so that way I can run really hard in the next set of tires there for the end. But I think where I'm falling up short is a lot of the guys end up pitting sooner. They catch that time a little bit quicker, pull away, and I just don't have enough at the end to be able to get them. And so who knows, maybe over these next few races, you'll see me pitting a little bit sooner, taking some risks. But I'm getting a little nervous, so I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Hey, look, I'm excited to see it. Hopefully, you're gonna keep it clean next week and make it into the playoffs. Feeling good about it. You're gonna take Dan Cunningham's spot. You're gonna move up into 8th place in the playoff field. But really excited about it. Before I let you go tonight, Jake, anyone you'd like to give a thanks to?
Yeah, absolutely. Mike Browning, thanks for the awesome paint job that he's provides for our team. And then Nasty's tonight, restaurant and bar, hanging out, chilling, vibing the race. Everybody, make sure you go out. You get their award-winning wings, their famous Nasty burgers, and everything else on the menu. And if you want, order around on Patrick. He will pay for everybody's drinks tonight. We got Lincoln Tech, Hidden Whip Brewery, Cruising Classics, Veterans for Life Foundation, Veterans for Life Racing, and Vets, Jam, Printing Promotions, Maconi, V-Speed, Nazareth 360. And then, to top it off, I feel like they don't get enough at the end sometimes, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, Alexander PC's, Sim Motion, Next Level Racing, and then obviously iRacing for allowing us to host these awesome sessions, and Above the Yellow Line. And then you, fellows, for being there. Awesome broadcast. I love going back and watching it. I appreciate the enthusiasm. It makes it a fun watch back.
Well, we're glad to be here. Y'all put on an awesome show every week, Jake. Congratulations on a 3rd place finish. We'll see you next week at the regular season finale, Las Vegas.
Thank you.
Well, that was Jake Ham, your 3rd place finisher here tonight. Moves up in the rankings of your playoffs. Logan, what'd you think about tonight's race here at Phoenix?
Man, it was a beautiful race here at Phoenix. That track temperature just held everything together like glue. It is not common at all at this racetrack. So these drivers handled it. They knew what to do. Levi McCarty, again, consistency is key. He did exactly what he needed to do when he needed to do it, ran away with the race. 100 laps led out of 115 is insane. So big props to him for that win tonight. And I'm really looking forward to being a part of Las Vegas next week.
Saw something really different, like you said, at Phoenix. We normally don't have that much grip. It allowed McCarty to save more tire than you would normally. So awesome race here. We saw a great race by McElwain and Jake Ham, but you talked about it. Excited to be at Las Vegas next week, and that's where we're going for, like we said, the final round of this regular season. And a lot of these guys we saw have some issues tonight. We saw James Goshen have some issues. Chance Taylor, he had some issues. Jim Kaufman had some issues. Bontrager had some issues. All these guys fighting right around the cut line and headed next week to try to make it into these playoffs.
It's going to be very interesting to see how the back half of these playoff drivers shake out. We might see some new names up here in the top 10 if they can get a good finish next week. And, you know, these drivers not have a great race. You know, obviously, once you have a race like tonight, that can fold over into the following week. So hopefully not by any means, but we're just going to have to find out.
Hopefully not for them. We're going to have to find out next week at Las Vegas. It'll be at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, either on the V-Speed YouTube and the Goat Locker Racing Facebook. That's where you can tune in. Same time next week. And we're going to see you all there. For Patrick Drabick and Jamie Barkis and everyone at Goat Locker Racing, for Adam Baker and Bradley Cooper at V-Speed, for our producer Eddie Smith, and my colleague in the booth, Logan Therakeld, my name is Scott Shive, and thank you for watching tonight here from Phoenix, and we'll see you next week at Las Vegas for the final round of the regular season.